Let's do a little food forest tour. Under the peach. I think this is some kind of mountain laurel. This is growing naturally here too. Could be a magnolia, I'm not sure. It kind of looks like those mountain laurels. And these things are really cool, so I am leaving him right there. Peek through at where the mushroom farm's gonna go. This is that bed I just planted. And that's over in the neighbor little buffer zone. I'll throw his grass clippings back there, so I'll use them. And then all this is going to be the berry area. So I've got my caneberries and blackberries and raspberries, and thinking about getting some currants and gooseberries and things like that. They're just probably not available till next season. It's kind of late. You can see here, I had tilled this garden before. Just tilled stuff into the soil. So I just tilled in peat moss, compost, and a little bit of garden soil. And right now this is just my dumping yard as I'm clearing brush and trimming things back, just creating a better canopy in here. The problem was last year and the other previous times I've tried to garden back here, it didn't get enough light. I mean, it was this beautiful little fertile pocket, but it was totally in shade. So growing vegetables wasn't an option. But you can see, just in soil, this is what it normally looks like, clay, straight out of the ground, out of the yard. And this is that same soil after tilling in a year. And you can see, it's still kind of red until it's clay, but it's got sandy bits and decomposed plants, and it's really fertile. I mean, stuff just shoots up out of it. These are all weeds, but they're pretty. They're lilies of the valley and all kinds of other stuff. This is that privet, which is impossible to get rid of. Look at all these blackberries coming up. Just wild blackberries. And you can follow this path around. You can see, you can get kind of an idea of the general shape of what everything's gonna be, but all that's gonna be under the dirt with stuff growing on it. It seems to be working out pretty well here. I want to show you something else. This, never grown these before. I've never actually eaten these before. This is fava bean, and you can see this thing is about 1.5 feet tall now. I tried sprouting these indoors in a cup, and I don't know if you can see this, but this is the same fava bean from the same seed pack, planted at the same time, but this was sprouted indoors. I waited for it to sprout indoors before I planted it. Here's another one right there. So for all those out there who insist on sprouting certain types of seeds indoors, I've found from my very limited little experience is that planting seed directly into a ground when it's good ground is a much better method. Let the plant figure out where it's going to live from the time it's a seed, if you can. And you're going to end up with happier, hardier plants. I think that's the deal. One of the guys I watch on YouTube, James Prigioni, I'll give you a shout out. I really like your method and ideology and stuff, is to let it be forest and let weeds grow through and let it kind of fight to get water. Let it find its own water. Don't come back here and water and just be a steward to the system. I'm really liking that approach. I've seen other people do food forests and stuff, and it's a lot more manicured. And of course I'm doing that to begin with in planning things out, but I want to let it grow like a forest and let it do the work for me and let stuff self-seed and let other vining crops weed out these thorny vines. So you really want to see what this used to look like, take a look back here. It was nothing but just dense privet and thorny vines galore. Like, look at this. It's just a dense thicket of useless thorns. What a waste. Alright, one thing I regret is not taking any before pictures or before video when I decided to do this, because I've been kind of plucking away at it. But if you want to see what it looked like back here before, this is what it was like. And I'm already shooing away mosquitoes and ticks, I'm sure. There's tons of poison ivy, and this is that just privet and scrub and stuff. But you can see this was a forest. It is a forest, so it's very fertile already. The forest system is in place. If you look at the soil here, I have done nothing out here. This is layers and layers of leaves, grass, and you can see it's clay right under there, but that clay is packed full of nutrition. Look at that moss. I'm gonna be growing lingonberries back here, wild cranberries. These were also some native peach trees that were just growing straight up, trying to find light. And I'm gonna open up this Bradford pear, maybe this one too, and just give them just a little bit more light. And I topped them here so they'll grow closer to the ground. We can reach the fruit. They'll be a lot more manageable size, and I think they'll be good producers. There's a bunch of them back here. That's one. It's all covered in brambles right now. I gotta clear all these sticks and stuff out. You can see I'd like to replace those with things like grapes and sweet potatoes and cucumbers, things that are tasty. Got some bell peppers and tomatoes, planted all kinds of stuff in this bed. These are Egyptian walking onions. Planted a purple tree collard. So, looking to see what this thing will do. Setting up the system now. It's very early on. I think we've got some little critters here boring holes in this thing. That's okay for now. I'm gonna keep building onto this thing over the year. I'll show the video. I saw this huge black snake crossing the lawn just when I got home. I bought those little lemon trees. A lemon and a kumquat, actually. Let's see. There's that new beauty. I had to trim it back. It was all growing lopsided. Figuring out where I want to place things. Putting pots just in the landscaping and trying to envision these as they grow up, because putting them in the ground, they got to be in a good spot where it gets a lot of light. You know, some things take less than others. Like this fig tree over here won't take as much light as, say, a citrus tree, which I'll probably keep those in pots. I'm still doing my research as to whether or not I'm in zone 7B, and it's right on the cusp. Frost can at least kill the fruit on a citrus and any new growth, but some varieties are kind of hardy, and we get very rarely any below freezing weather for any length of time. So it might be as easy as just like throwing a blanket on them, you know, if it ever is supposed to frost in the winter. Most of the year it's really hot here, and we have pretty mild winters. We rarely get snow, maybe once or twice a year here. So I just picked up these. I stopped by, believe it or not, I got these at Walmart. Most of the time I buy from, you know, little nurseries in town and stuff like that. Know the owners for some, and I just enjoy going to a nursery more than a big box store. But I had to get some other stuff, and these are on like mega sale. So this kumquat tree is about 5 feet tall. Looks to have some really nice growth on it. It's already been pruned a good bit. It has flowers, it has fruit. It just seemed really healthy, and it was in the clearance aisle. It was $14 for a 5 foot tall tree. Over here, this is a variegated Eureka lemon pink. So it's highly ornamental. It has these nice little variegations on the leaves. And if you look, even the fruit is variegated. It has green stripes on it. And apparently the flesh is pink. So I guess that's where pink lemonade kind of originated from. But the one thing I will tell you is I have hardly ever smelled anything more fantastic than these blossoms here. I was moving it and I was like, what is that awesome smell? And it's these little blossoms. And these trees were just dying out in the Walmart parking lot. I mean, think of the hottest place on earth. It's a South Carolina day in the middle of a Walmart asphalt field. And this thing, I think I'm bringing it back from sure destruction because it's just a gorgeous plant. It's got these little pink flowers on it. It was like $10. So, can't argue with that. Look at these little kumquats. Probably $14. It's almost as tall as I am. And healthy too. Look at all this growth. This is woody stem. Beautiful little trees. For cheap. And for all my wine friends, this is Cabernet Franc. I'm growing it here. I didn't want to stick it over next to the other vines because I didn't want it to compete. I'm going to baby this one a little bit more and see if it'll grow some grapes. I'm not going to try to make wine out of it. Who knows if it's really productive. Maybe I'll make a little bit, but I'm not a winemaker. I'll leave that to the pros. You can see these are all native peaches that were just growing here. And they were growing back in there in the middle of a bunch of thorny vines. And I just moved them to a spot where I thought they'd be happier. And pruned them, trying to develop these limbs. Anything that, I watch a lot of YouTube, they said anything that grows straight up or straight into the middle, you want to get rid of. And rather than chopping this one completely off and starting over from scratch, I kind of like this dual branch layer design that it has. So it's kind of cool. I think I'm going to leave that. Same over here. So rather than chopping it off at the knee and having all the branches come out of the same spot, you can see the back, which doesn't get as much sun. The way that this is set up here. See, it's about belly button high where the branches start coming off, and then I've got a second little canopy, and then I stop. That's where I chopped it. Right there. But I think I'm gonna like the way that that grows, and if it gets too tall, I can always cut stuff out of the middle. It's got really nice little fruits on it. Here, I'll get a better angle. These peach fruits. Some of them are getting this like, I don't know if you can see that, this gelatinous goo on them. And I can't quite tell. It's from some kind of bugs, but anytime I see ones, this has been the most hardy one that you can see. There's like worms and stuff, and I just pluck those off and chuck them back there. Maybe we'll get a new little tree. Again, these bushes were just here, wild Nandinas, pop up everywhere. They're just wild. And I'll move them where they want. They pitch a fit when I move them. They wilt and stuff, but they come right back. A lot of stuff was planted in here, daylilies and things that just weren't getting enough light. And you have just nothing but canopy up there. So any given time of day, they rarely get any light, except for in the morning. So stuff like peas do really well here. Look, there's some little peas back there. These are mammoth melting sugar snap peas. And they seem to be doing all right in this spot. They're pretty hardy stems. I just gotta keep them from flowing all over the place. But let's try one of these bad boys here. little snap pea. There's the pile of sticks that's gonna be the hugel. And then this is all just sheet mulch. I'm gonna keep building up this soil too, mounting these up. And that swale I'm gonna fill with wood chips. So it'll all look level, but water will collect under there. Start to get a feel for the shape of this thing. Now that I cleaned it up, I can show you guys like the whole thing. I just had pots and wheelbarrows and bags of compost and stuff laying around, so it looked pretty messy when I was working on it. All right, here's an update of what I've been doing. All this back here was piled head high in sticks, just like this. Couldn't walk through here before. It sticks right up to here and all through there. Nice and cleaned out. I just chopped up all the hedges and then stomped on everything. So I don't think you can get better forest mulch than crunched up forest. This is what I used back here. So. But it's just a really beautiful time of day to be back here. And this is just another view of the garden. These are old tomato trellises. I might use them if some of the tomatoes get out of control, but they make a nice little entrance right here. It's a cool shot.